Welcome to this week's crypto update. So, what's been happening in the macro and how is it affecting Bitcoin and crypto? Well, this headline I think covers us for the week and probably for the year so far. Tariff uncertainty has spooked global investors out of the US stock market. The latest legal drama on Trump's trade war hasn't helped attract capital. So, what's been happening? Well, on Wednesday, a federal court struck down President Trump's reciprocal tariffs. The Wednesday night ruling concluded that the president exceeded any authority granted by the International Emergency Powers Act. So this now throws up huge uncertainty regards what's actually going to happen with the tariffs. And of course, you know, we've had tariffs on, tariffs off, tariffs on, tariffs off, different size tariffs. It's been, you know, complete uncertainty in the marketplace in general around these. And now, you know, there's that uncertainty of, can he actually put them in place at all? Does this mean the whole lot have to be wiped out? And ultimately, the market, whether it's positive news or negative news, they just like certainty. With this, it's completely uncertain, and it just seems that, you know, we're going to see at least another few weeks of uncertainty around this. This all has to be dealt with, I believe, within 10 days. So either that he can or he can't, but what happens after that? So it's just huge uncertainty in the market, and the market is certainly reacting to that both this week and over the year so far. In fact, year to date, if you look at major country equity performances and other the stock market in various countries around the world, you can see the United States is up less than 1%. However, throughout a lot of bigger countries around the world, we see the likes of, you know, Japan and Canada, you know, Japan nearly 10%, Canada over 11%, China nearly 14%, United Kingdom 17%, all the way up to France 18%, Brazil 23%, and Germany at 31%. So you can see here that investments are happening in the stock markets around the world, but just not so much in the US. That can be seen to be as a result of the administration, the amount of change that's happening, and certainly around the tariff situation. So what has that done? Has it stopped the inflow for the likes of Bitcoin? Well, let's have a look. Pakistan is setting up a government-led strategic Bitcoin reserve. Again, we're seeing countries around the world now follow suit in what, you know, we've seen in a couple of smaller countries. Then we see it in the US, and now we see more and more governments starting to consider a Bitcoin strategic reserve. And of course, we're seeing institutions do the same, and companies. We see BlackRock is eyeing 10% stake in Circle's IPO. So Circle is running an IPO quite soon. BlackRock is planning to purchase roughly 10% of Circle's initial public offering. We also see Texas lawmakers are finalizing the details on their Bitcoin reserve. So it's all positive with regards to specifically Bitcoin. And finally, we see GameStop. You know, they announced that they were raising 1.5 billion, that they were going to create a Bitcoin reserve or treasury for their business. They have now announced they have actually bought $512 million worth of Bitcoin for their treasury. I think we're going to see more buy orders to come, but this is their first announcement saying they had actually done that. So yeah, it's more and more companies going down this road. We see Bitcoin ETFs have had a crazy May. Just May alone, nearly 6 billion in inflows. It's just massive interest now. But again, it's big money. It's institutions, it's banks, it's governments, it's states, it's wealth funds, all now running towards Bitcoin. And we even see, of course, Trump Media and Technology Group is raising 2.5 billion through a private offering to build a corporate Bitcoin treasury. So like I said, it's just happening everywhere. Has Ethereum been totally left out of the equation? Well, actually, no. Some really interesting news this week. We see SharpLink Gaming announcing 425 million private placement to initiate an Ethereum treasury strategy. I think this is the first one. I haven't seen one before now, but this is exactly what we were saying would happen a couple of months ago when Ethereum was on the floor, when the narrative was completely against Ethereum, and it was all talk about, you know, I suppose Ethereum killers like Solana and Sui and so many more. We were saying Ethereum, number one, was great value at that point in time when it was under $1,500, but also I was saying that I felt that time would come in the not too distant future where people would start buying Ethereum for a treasury. And the fact is, you can actually take Ethereum and stake it and earn a yield. Institutions absolutely love that. So a very interesting move, and I think we're going to see much more of this to come. But ultimately, where are we at this week, and I suppose the year as a whole? Bitcoin's up, has climbed over 20% this year. It's having a pullback now. It's been up to 112,000. It's currently under 105. So a pretty significant pullback off the back of all this uncertainty, particularly since Wednesday. But as a whole for the year, you can see the stock market and risk on assets, particularly the US stock market, is pretty much level for the year so far. Bitcoin has, gone up to 20% up from its start of the year. So we can see that sort of slight splitting. And now we see Ethereum starting to take some of the headlines too. Where to from here? Well, I think the only certainty is we're going to see plenty more uncertainty running through the summer. But once this is all put to bed, I think then there's massive, massive upside potential. Make sure you're prepared for that. Have everything in place. Know what you want to buy. And we'll see you all on the next one.